The moment I realized my wedding ring was gone, I knew exactly who had taken it. My sister. Her name was Emily, and she had been standing beside me only minutes earlier. At first, I couldn't believe it. I searched through my purse, then the bridal suite, then every table, drawer, and corner of the room. Nothing. My wedding ring was gone, and it wasn't just an ordinary ring. It had belonged to my grandmother. My mother had given it to me the night I got engaged, telling me, "This ring has survived 2 generations of heartbreak and love. Now it's yours." I had promised her I'd wear it on my wedding day. But 20 minutes before the ceremony, it disappeared. My name is Maria, and I thought losing that ring was going to be the worst thing that happened to me that day. I was wrong. Because when the hotel manager checked the security cameras, something terrifying appeared on the screen. My sister had entered my bridal suite. She had looked directly at the camera. Then she opened my wedding jewelry box. And she took the ring. I felt my stomach drop. "That's her," I whispered. My maid of honor looked at me. "Maria, are you sure?" I nodded. "That's my sister." Everyone in the room started talking at once. My father wanted to call the police. My mother was crying. My fiancé, Daniel, stood completely silent. But I couldn't understand one thing. Why would Emily steal my wedding ring? She had always been competitive. She had always compared our lives. My career, my apartment, my relationship, even our dresses. But stealing the ring my grandmother left me? That didn't make sense. The hotel manager replayed the footage. Emily entered the room. She looked nervous. She checked the hallway. Then she reached into my jewelry box. Her hand closed around the ring. And she walked away. No hesitation. No accident. She had taken it deliberately. I felt betrayed. Not just because of the ring, but because she was my sister, the woman who had stood beside me during every major moment of my life. I called her. She didn't answer. I called again. Nothing. Then finally, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Emily. Only 6 words. "Maria, please don't trust the footage." I stared at the message. My heart began racing, because if the security footage clearly showed her taking my ring, why would she tell me not to trust it? Then another message arrived. "This one changed everything. I didn't steal your ring. I was trying to save your life." I read Emily's message 3 times. "I didn't steal your ring. I was trying to save your life." Save my life? From what? I immediately called her again. This time she answered. But she didn't say hello. All I heard was heavy breathing. "Emily?" Her voice finally came through. "Maria, listen to me carefully. Don't tell anyone where I am." My heart started pounding. "What are you talking about?" "The ring isn't safe." I looked toward my jewelry box. "Emily, you took it!" "I know what it looks like. But you have to trust me." "Why?" She went silent for several seconds. Then she whispered, "Because someone put something inside your ring box." I froze. "What?" "I don't know exactly what it is, but I saw someone near your room before I took the ring." "Who?" I couldn't see his face. My eyes immediately moved toward the bridal suite door. The hallway was crowded with wedding guests. Anyone could have entered. Anyone. "Emily, why didn't you tell me this before?" "Because I didn't know who I could trust." "Not even Daniel?" She hesitated. That hesitation terrified me. Especially not Daniel. My stomach dropped. "Why are you bringing my fiancé into this?" "Because I found something in his office." "What did you find?" Before she could answer, the call suddenly ended. I called back. Straight to voicemail. I looked at my maid of honor. "Something is wrong." She shook her head. "Maria, maybe your sister is trying to scare you." But I couldn't ignore the feeling in my chest. The hotel manager returned with the security footage. "We've isolated the recording. Would you like to watch it again?" I nodded. The video played. Emily entered my room. She went directly to the jewelry box. But this time, I noticed something I'd missed. She didn't immediately take the ring. She picked it up, turned it over, and stared at it. Then she looked toward the bedroom door. Her expression suddenly changed. She appeared terrified. Emily quickly wrapped the ring in a handkerchief. Then she slipped it into her purse. But before leaving, she did something strange. She opened the drawer beneath my jewelry box. She removed a tiny black object. Then she walked out. I stared at the screen. "Pause it." The manager stopped the video. "What is that?" Nobody answered. The manager zoomed in. It looked like a tiny electronic device, a tracking device. My blood ran cold. Someone had planted it inside my bridal suite. Someone had been tracking me. Then Daniel walked into the room. "What's going on?" I turned toward my fiancé. For the first time that day, I wasn't sure whether I could trust him. He looked at the screen. His face went completely pale. "Where did you get that footage?" I stared at him. "Why?" He swallowed. "Because that device belongs to my security company." The room went completely silent. I stared at Daniel. "Your security company?" He nodded slowly. "Yes." "Then why was one of your devices hidden in my bridal suite?" Daniel looked toward the hotel manager. "I don't know." That answer wasn't good enough. "You don't know?" He rubbed his forehead. "Maria, I swear I didn't put it there." "But someone working for you did." He didn't respond. I could see the fear in his eyes. Not anger, not confusion, fear. And suddenly I remembered something. 2 days earlier, Daniel had told me his company was upgrading the security system at several of his properties. At the time, I hadn't thought anything of it. Now, everything felt different. The hotel manager replayed the footage again. This time, we watched every second. Emily entered the room. She looked toward the hidden camera. Then she looked at the jewelry box. But something was different. She wasn't stealing the ring. She was inspecting it. She turned the ring over and examined the inside. Then she suddenly looked toward the hallway. Someone was coming. Emily grabbed the ring and ran. Seconds later, a man entered the room. He was wearing a dark suit and baseball cap. His face was partially hidden. He walked directly toward the jewelry box. But the ring was already gone. He searched through the drawers. Then he left. My blood ran cold. Emily hadn't stolen my ring. She had taken it before he could. She had been trying to protect it. "Who is that man?" I asked. Daniel stared at the screen. "I don't know." The hotel manager looked at him. "You seem pretty familiar with the security system." Daniel's jaw tightened. "I own a security company. That doesn't mean I know every employee." Then my phone rang. It was Emily. I answered immediately. "Where are you?" "I'm at the parking garage." "Are you safe?" "For now." I heard her breathing heavily. Then she said, "Maria, there's something you need to know." "What?" "The ring isn't just a family heirloom." I froze. "What do you mean?" "There's something hidden inside it." Daniel suddenly stepped toward me. "Maria, don't listen to her." I turned away from him. Emily continued. "Grandma knew someone would eventually try to take it. She had a tiny compartment added beneath the stone." My hands began trembling. "What's inside?" "I don't know. That's why I took it." Then I noticed someone was following me. I looked at Daniel. He was staring at me. Emily whispered, "Maria, there's one more thing." "What?" "The man who entered your room." I recognized his shoes. My heart stopped. "Whose shoes?" Emily's voice cracked. "They belonged to Daniel's head of security." At that exact moment, the hotel doors opened. A man in a dark suit walked into the lobby. Daniel looked at him, then immediately whispered, "Everybody stay where you are." The man reached inside his jacket, and that's when I realized this was never about my wedding ring. Someone wanted what was hidden inside it. The man stopped in the middle of the lobby. Everyone stared at him. Daniel stepped forward. "Take your hand out of your jacket." The man froze, then slowly raised both hands. "I'm not carrying a weapon." The hotel security team immediately surrounded him. But I couldn't stop looking at his face. It was the same man from the security footage, Daniel's head of security. His name was Marcus. "Why were you in my bridal suite?" I asked. He didn't answer. Daniel grabbed his phone. "Call the police." Marcus finally spoke. "You don't understand. Your wife is in danger." My heart stopped. "My wife?" He looked directly at me. "Someone inside Daniel's company has been stealing confidential information. Your wedding was supposed to be the perfect opportunity to get close to you." I looked at Daniel. What does that have to do with my ring? Marcus reached into his jacket and pulled out a photograph. It showed my grandmother wearing the exact same ring. On the back was a handwritten note. "If they ever come looking for this, protect Maria." I couldn't breathe. Marcus continued. "Your grandmother discovered financial fraud connected to several people inside Daniel's company. She kept copies of the evidence. And she hid the final access key inside the ring." Everything suddenly made sense. The mysterious device. The man in the hallway. Emily taking my ring. Someone trying to find it. My sister hadn't betrayed me. She had protected me. Then Emily appeared at the entrance. She was holding my ring. She walked straight toward me. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I hugged her. For the first time that day, I didn't care about the wedding. I only cared that my sister was safe. Emily handed me the ring. "I knew you would hate me for taking it, but I couldn't let them get it." I examined the ring carefully. Inside the band was a tiny hidden compartment. A small memory card was tucked inside. Marcus looked at Daniel. "Your grandmother left enough evidence to expose everyone involved." Daniel looked at me. "I'm sorry you had to find out like this." I shook my head. "You didn't betray me." He smiled sadly. "No, but I almost did." He explained that he had suspected corruption inside his company and had secretly asked Marcus to protect me without frightening me. The wedding was postponed that day. But 3 months later, I married Daniel in a small ceremony surrounded by the people I trusted most. Emily stood beside me. She was my maid of honor. And the wedding ring? I wore it proudly, not because it represented a perfect family, but because it reminded me that sometimes the person who appears to betray you may actually be the one protecting you. The investigation eventually exposed the people behind the fraud. My grandmother's hidden evidence saved Daniel's company, and Emily and I became closer than we'd ever been. That day taught me something I'll never forget. Never judge someone by what you see in a single moment, because sometimes a stolen ring isn't really a theft. Sometimes it's a warning, and sometimes the person you blame first is the very person who saved you.